There are a lot of lies circulating about Disney World, and now it's time to get down to the truth here on DFP Guide. Hey everybody, it's AJ for Disney Food Blog, and I'm here to help steer you in the right direction when it comes to the cold, hard Disney truth. Now, there's a lot of speculation about a lot of different things concerning the parks and hotels, so we're going to talk about some that will set the record straight and some that could even make or break your upcoming trip. And of course, at the end of the video, we've got one thing that a lot of people don't believe that is actually the truth, so stick around for that. Now, let's start with a lie that could potentially really upset Walt Disney himself. When Walt opened Disneyland back in 1955, there was a no alcohol sold in the park rule. This was a family-friendly place he was opening, and he didn't want to go about cultivating the wrong type of atmosphere. Walt was actually quoted by Pete Martin of the Saturday Evening Post back in the 50s saying this about his strict Disneyland policy: no liquor, no beer, nothing, because that brings in a rowdy element. That brings people that we don't want, and I feel they don't need it. Now, the only exception to this rule, of course, was Club 33 in Disneyland, but that wasn't a place open to the public and was supposed to be a more private, intimate space for Walt to entertain his business associates. Now, Walt Disney stuck to his guns till the end, and when Magic Kingdom opened in 1971, the same rules applied. Thanks to Roy Disney wanting to uphold his brother's beliefs, you could buy water and soda pop all you wanted, but no beer, no wine, no tropical Mai Tais. And that was the way things stayed for a very long time. Though the other Disney parks did sell alcohol, the OGs remained dry, but not anymore. That's right, Magic Kingdom and Disneyland are no longer dry parks. Magic Kingdom was the first to cave after the opening of the new Fantasyland section of the park in 2012. With New Fantasyland came the restaurant we all know and love today, Be Our Guest restaurant. Okay, we actually have a love-hate relationship with this place because of the whole quick service gone premium service ordeal, but that's a rant for a different day. Now, Be Our Guest crossed the line by offering the first ever alcoholic menu selection, but the offerings were very limited to a small assortment of wines and beers. As the restaurant started to reshape itself into this grandiose signature experience, more drinks have been introduced, but that's not necessarily a good thing because we're still having flashbacks about that Squid's Revenge cocktail. That one might be for you, but I prefer not to chew on a cold tentacle while gulping down Michelada. But when Be Our Guest started selling the goods, most of the other Magic Kingdom table service restaurants eventually followed suit. Now you can order from a selection of adult beverages at pretty much all the table service restaurants around the park, while quick and counter service restaurants still remain dry. Disneyland held out for a good while longer, but leave it to Batuu to shake things up. When Star Wars Galaxy's Edge entered the Disneyland scene in 2019, it brought along boozy space drinks. Yeah, the local Batuans were unfamiliar with the near 65 years of sobriety memo. But Batuu isn't the only place in Disneyland selling the harder stuff. Blue Bayou over in New Orleans Square followed Batuu's influence and introduced beer, wine, and specialty cocktails after its extended 2020 closure. So now all Disney World and Disneyland parks serve an array of alcoholic options. It's just that some parks have more options than others, and in Magic Kingdom and Disneyland, you can only purchase alcohol at table service restaurants. You can't kind of walk around with it, and you're not going to get it at counter service locations or kiosks. Next up, a total Disney lie that I really wish was true. Disney World has no mosquitoes. Sorry, Charlie, and all you other names out there. Whatever article or blog or video that you've seen claiming that Disney World is a mosquito-free territory just isn't the case. And much like any business or household, if it were really up to Disney, of course they'd have the parks mosquito-free. In fact, Disney does have a full-service mosquito control program, which helps control the buggy situation. But that doesn't mean this program completely eliminates the problem. Nope, Disney doesn't have a big dome over it keeping out rain and keeping out mosquitoes. In fact, Disney's been trying to get their mosquito problem under control for many, many years. According to the timeline from a Snopes post, Disney was really nervous about encephalitis-bearing mosquitoes. So many guest activities were moved inside buildings during that time while mosquito prevention duty increased. And in 2002, West Nile was a big concern, meaning more mosquito preventive measures were taken on by the mouse. Today, Disney continues to use safe state and federal approved pesticides to protect its guests, but that's a whole lot of ground for them to cover, meaning it's totally normal if 1 or 2 or 10 mosquitoes happen to make their way onto the property. So if you want to give yourself an extra dose of precaution, pack some bug spray into your park bag and give yourself a little spritz or two if you're wandering around during that twilight hour and if you're near some standing water. All right, ready for a big soul crusher here? Because you might actually be shocked by what I'm about to tell you. You know how you think Walt said, if you can dream it, you can do it? You know, if you can dream it, then you can do it. Yeah, like that. I mean, it's featured on so many of our t-shirts and hats and notebooks and construction walls. We even made it our Facebook statuses. But hate to break it to you, Walt Disney never actually coined that phrase. That phrase was actually said by the executive vice president and senior creative executive for Walt Disney Imagineering, Tom Fitzgerald. The iconic line was first featured in the 1980s attraction Horizons, and ever since, it's been directly associated with Walt Disney, and for good reason. It certainly sounds like something Walt would say. He might have even said it at some point, but the OG quote directly comes from the creative mind of Fitzgerald. But don't you worry, there are still plenty of memorable quotes Walt Disney did coin during his lifetime that he deserves credit for. Like one of my personal favorites, it's kind of fun to do the impossible. Now, on a less quotable note, let's talk about a big fat lie that needs to be debunked ASAP. All the chicken tenders in Disney World taste the same. Honest mistake, really. After hitting up quick service after quick service around the parks, you're more than likely going to come across the same old theme park chicken tenders at many of those locations. And those are delicious. That's fine and dandy. Chicken tenders are thebomb.com in all forms. But there are definitely chicken tenders on Disney World property that'll blow your tender expectations out of the water. Disney Springs, for example, has the glorious Chicken Guy quick service. These tenders are very different from what you'd find at the average quick service locations because they've got a lighter, crumbly breading instead of that thick breading you may be used to. But the real star of the show here is the 22 different dipping sauces you can pair along with your chicken. Though most entrees will come with a choice of 2, you can add on any others that you'd like to try for an extra 50 cents. Bria loves the avocado crema, and I, of course, just need to get 5 of the regular buffalo sauces. He does a great job with those. I don't know how. And if you head up Chef Art Smith's Homecoming, which is one of my favorite table service restaurants in Disney Springs, you're going to find a lot of different fried chicken options, along with the kids' menu chicken tenders. Oh, and you've also got Art's famous fried chicken and the fried chicken and donuts. All the fried chicken at Homecoming is buttermilk brined for 24 hours and hand battered. And let me just say, you can taste the difference. So buttery, so crisp, so juicy. It'll ruin you for other fried chicken places for sure. Now, yes, most chicken tenders you'll find at Disney World would be the standard frozen fare, but Disney Springs definitely takes their poultry game up a notch. Now, here's a very sneaky lie for you, and I only say it's sneaky because it wasn't really a lie until recently. There's only one real American flag in the Magic Kingdom. Okay, let's break this down into parts. Part 1, the truth behind it. Yes, for many, many, many years, there's only been one true American flag in Magic Kingdom, and that's the one you're going to find up on the flagpole when you first enter Main Street, USA. All the other American flags you see flying throughout the park purposefully have a missing stripe or a missing star. Why? Because the American Flag Code of Conduct states that it is the universal custom to display the flag only from sunrise to sunset on buildings and on stationary flagstaffs in the open. However, when a patriotic effect is desired, the flag may be displayed 24 hours a day if properly illuminated during the hours of darkness. So basically, if Disney filled the Magic Kingdom with all real American flags, they'd either need to properly illuminate them or lower and raise them each day, meaning it saves them a lot of time to just have one true American flag while the others are tributes that can stay up 24/7 without any special procedures. And now part 2, the lie. Last year, another real true American flag was added to Magic Kingdom, and you can find this second flag inside the Hall of Presidents on Liberty Square. Seems fitting, right? In one of the glass cabinets before you enter into the theater, you'll notice a triangle folded flag, which has a lot of personal history directly related to the opening of Magic Kingdom. On October 1st, 1971, when Walt Disney World opened, then President Richard Nixon flew an American flag outside of the White House. He then sent that same flag to Roy Disney along with a letter. One of the standout lines of Nixon's letter reads, "May this flag represent our faith in the American dream, which is so much in evidence at Walt Disney World." Roy made sure this American flag was used for Disney World's dedication day on October 25th, 1971. But after the dedication, Roy had the flag folded up and sent to Dave Smith, the founder of the Walt Disney Archives. The flag was kept in the archives for a long while before being rediscovered and presented during a press event held for Disney World's 50th anniversary celebration. Now the flag rests in a giant glass cabinet within the Hall of Presidents, meaning we officially have 2 real American flags. It's just that one does way less blowing in the wind nowadays than the other. Ready for a more chilling debunked lie? Let's head over to the Haunted Mansion for this one. One of the singing busts in Haunted Mansion is Walt. Well, as you're riding through the graveyard party scene in Haunted Mansion, one of the standout features is the singing busts, though the ghouls that pop out from behind the tombstones and about give me a heart attack every single time also demand to be seen. Literally, why do they still freak me out? I know they're going to be there. I know they're going to pop up. Anyway, the melodious head busts are having a grand old time endlessly singing grim grinning ghosts, but for many guests, one of these busts seems way more special and familiar than the others. The head bust on the far right has been claimed by many to be modeled after Walt Disney himself, but that's, as Dwight Schrute would say, false. The bust is actually modeled after the singer Thurl Ravencroft. You know, the famous You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch song? That was Thurl. He was also the voice actor for Frosted Flakes mascot Tony the Tiger. But the reason he's part of this ghoulish bust squad isn't for his grinchy nor tigery personas. He's one of the vocalists you'll hear in the Grim Grinning Ghosts Quartet. Now you've got some fun, fresh facts to tell your family and friends about that, but make sure to tell them after you get off the ride, Kate, because they probably won't be too thrilled to hear trivia while experiencing the dark ride, especially if it's their first time ever seeing the 999 Happy Haunts. There are so many Haunted Mansion rumors floating around the Disney realm, so let's unravel the truth behind another one of those falsehoods. There are real graves at the Haunted Mansion. The tombstones scattered around the grounds outside Haunted Mansion are a hoot and a half. They've got all these clever little rhymes for their epitaphs, like "Here lies Cousin Hewitt, we all know you didn't do it." But despite the oodles of tombstones here, there are no actual bodies buried in this faux cemetery. However, some of the tombstones do pay tribute to real people who've passed on. The famous Imagineer Yale Gracie, who actually worked on the Haunted Mansion ride, has his own tombstone. In fact, the Haunted Mansion character Master Gracie ended up playing an even bigger role on the ride than Yale would ever realize. Over the years, guests have actually plugged in Mr. Gracie to the Haunted Mansion lore, claiming him as the master of the mansion itself. Though no one's quite sure if Gracie was supposed to be the true master of the Haunted Mansion, it went from headcanon to official Disney canon after the live-action 2003 Haunted Mansion film was released, making Master Gracie the head of the household and a central plot point of the script. And now for a Disney lie that really gets my blood boiling. This is one we've talked about on the channel before, but if anyone is new here, it is very, very important, and even if you're not new here, I think you will agree with me that this is an important thing to make sure the new people get. You have to book the printed number of days to get special Disney discounts. Guess what? You don't. Let's say you find a ticket or a hotel deal on the Disney World website that you want to apply to your upcoming trip. Except, according to what's initially being advertised to you, it seems like you can only apply this deal if you book a specific number of nights and days, like 5 nights, 6 days, or 6 nights, 7 days. Does that mean if you're planning on visiting over a weekend that you can't still use these deals? No, and that's what gets me all worked up. Disney's marketing language makes it look like you won't be able to apply certain discounts to shorter stays. But if you take the time to read the fine print, you may just stumble upon additional details that will explain that the minimum amount of days is much lower than what they put in their marketing materials. So if you want to know more about what deals Disney is currently offering, check out the Disney World website's Deals, Savings, and Offerings page. And also join our newsletter because we talk about all the new discounts and deals, and we specify exactly what the minimum number of days is despite what Disney's marketing language says. It can save you a ton of money. It's a huge deal. So I'm going to harp on it every couple of months on this channel. Now, next up, a common misconception that, well, I also wish was true. As long as you have sturdy shoes, long days at the parks don't hurt. Okay, I don't know who's lying to you about this, but they need to stop because there are so many different park shoe brands I could recommend to you, but even wearing the best park shoes ever still may not prevent the ache in your arches and the blisters after spending day after day in the parks from sunup to sundown because you're walking like 20,000 plus steps every day. It's wet. It's sunny, you're sweating. Horrible things can happen that do not happen to you on the reg. So yes, you should wear sturdy, reliable park shoes. Yes, you should break them in before you go, but still bring along your moleskin. Bring along a second or third pair of shoes to keep in your hotel. So if the first pair starts to rub and chafe in the wrong places, you can switch to the other pair. I do this regularly. I wear like different shoes each day so that I don't have the same spots rubbing every single day. And anytime I start to feel a hot spot, I slap a piece of moleskin on there immediately. I don't even want to deal with anything developing. If you think Disney experts don't have foot problems when they're at Disney World, you're wrong. We all have them. We all experience them no matter what we tell you. So bring that moleskin, bring the extra shoes. All right, this next one you may be relieved to find out is not true. This is one people talk about all the time. And since we're Disney Food Blog, we feel like we need to debunk this myth. Turkey legs are actually emu legs. Okay, I get it. These turkey legs that Disney sells are huge. They look and taste like ham. How are they turkey? Well, the turkey legs are actually taken from tom turkeys, the males, while the full turkeys we usually have for Thanksgiving are usually females. But the whole reason these rumors caught on was actually thanks to none other than Flynn Rider. Well, actually, it was more so Flynn's voice actor, Zachary Levi, who mentioned during an interview on Conan O'Brien that his buddy who used to work at Disneyland told him those turkey legs were actually made out of emu. Now, this has been a rumor for a very, very long time. It originated pre-Tangled, but that gave it legs, so to speak. Sorry, that was a horrible pun. Now, we here at DFB also have a buddy who used to work at the parks, one of our lead editors actually, and she can confirm that these legs are 100% real turkey legs, and Disney's also confirmed it as well. Now, there are a few different locations where you can find turkey legs around Disney World. Magic Kingdom's got a couple of spots, Prince Eric's Village Market and Sleepy Hollow Refreshments, as long as you're there after 7 p.m. And Epcot also sells turkey legs over at the Fife and Drum counter service. And while turkey legs seem to come and go from some kiosks frequently, there's usually at least a handful of places that keep them around. All right, remember at the beginning of this video, I told you we were going to give you a bonus rumor that was actually true? All right, hang on to your hats and glasses because this is the wildest fact in the wilderness. Did you know that Big Thunder Mountain can help pass kidney stones? Yep, you've heard it here. Anyone who's ever dealt with a kidney stone knows how painful they can be, but what if passing one was as easy as jumping on a roller coaster? Well, urologist and professor emeritus in the Department of Osteopathic Surgical Specialties at Michigan State University, which I can't condone because go blue, but anyway, Dr. David Wardinger actually tested this theory and reported it back to the MSU publication, MSU Today, which we tracked down on Snopes. Apparently, Dr. Wardinger had several patients tell him about how they'd been able to pass their kidney stones by simply riding Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. And because it was so intriguing, he decided to conduct a little experiment. Dr. Wardinger used a synthetic 3D model of a hollow kidney with 3 kidney stones no larger than 4 millimeters inside. Then he let his fake kidney have the time of its life by taking it in a backpack on Big Thunder Mountain Railroad 20 times. And what he found was that as long as he was sitting in one of the back rows of the ride, there was a 64% passage rate. Now, Dr. Wardinger didn't just test his theory on Big Thunder. He rode coasters like Space Mountain and Rock and Roller Coaster too, but Big Thunder was the only coaster that had the rough twists and turns needed for the desired outcome. With all that being said, please don't choose to go to Disney World for the sole purpose of doing this. A medical professional is always the number one way to figure this out. And remember, if you are dealing with a medical situation while you're in the parks, there are first aid centers that can help you out. But if you've got a major medical emergency, please call 911. All right, if you loved this video, we've got another video about lies about Disney World that'll answer a bunch more of your myth-busting Disney World questions. You can check that out right here. Thanks for listening, everyone, and thanks for watching. As always, this is AJ for Disney Food Vlog, and we'll see you real soon.